What's going on, y'all? Here from Houston, Texas. Thanks for your patience. I had to reschedule a time from our usual 11:30 to now 1:30 Central. Had an emergency request, so we got to take care of it for y'all. That's how we do it. So we got some questions here. Hey, Ron, nice to see you, buddy. It's We got a couple questions so far here, but I like to do what I always do, and that's just check the Department of State visa bulletin, see if there's any, or not the visa bulletin, but the visa news section to see if there's any news. And in the description box below, there should be a link to join the studio if you would like to ask any questions, I guess face to face, but you don't have to. Let's see here, especially as going through immigration history is very personal. So in that note, if you do have questions, and of course you don't want to ask on the channel, go ahead and click or not click, but text or call this number down below, 346 number. And if you already know some information about your case, you're welcome to also go down to the description box, click the link, Team Law, and they'll have your opportunity to answer a few questions, and our cares team will call you within 24 hours on a business day. So now let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and open up this news section. Okay, April 9th. Okay, so April 9th is the most recent one, talking about some information with the National Visa Center, which we actually should have uploaded a video the other day this week about that, just basically stating how the Department of State is now operating and who they're opening up the interviews for. Okay, so, and by the way, if you have any questions on, if the appointment wait times or the appointments are opening up for specific type of cases, please let me know in the comment section below. Also, let me know the type of application and also which consulate, okay? So let's see here. What I'd like to show you is also the visa statistics. Okay, so I'll do a separate video about this, but I just want to show you quickly on this item. Okay, and let's see if I can share it with you. I just want to give you an idea how many people the government is processing, or visas, I mean. Okay, so here it pops up. So there's a section on the Department of State website. This might be a bit big, but okay, let's see here. We want to go to, so some people are asking about the fiance visas. So you want to click here, non-immigrant visa. And then of course it goes to another screen. So we want to share the other screen. Okay. Okay, here we go. This is for non-immigrant visa, and the most updated. I don't know why they do this, but the most recent is all the way at the freaking bottom. Okay, here we go. So that would be February 2021 by post. Okay. So, oh man, that shows up very tiny. So let me see if I can increase the size. So I know some of y'all have been waiting and waiting so long for some consulates, specifically Guangzhou for K1. So here it shows in February 2021, they issued out 16 visas for Guangzhou in China. So that's a lot more than the month before, and that was January. I think in January it was like 1 or 2. So I wanted to just share that idea that they are finally increasing the number of interviews by nature of, I mean, they could have had more interviews than 16, and maybe some people were denied. Who knows? But just wanted to share that. And if you have a country or consulate that you're wondering about, please let me know. Happy to check for you. But I do also want to show you, for example, the immigrant visas. Okay, so immigrant visas, we'll share, let me share that screen. Let me try to get to February 2021. Okay, that made it bigger. Okay, so here we are for Guangzhou for CR1, conditional resident. They were issued out 43 visas. And then for IR1, for people who are immediate relative that were married for more than 2 years, then that's 258 visas issued. So I'm sorry, that was for Georgetown. So let me see, Guangzhou. Well, 250 in Georgetown. That's impressive. Okay, 60. So 43 for CR1 and 60 for IR1. When you see the number two, that's for dependents, children, for example. And so that's why that's a much lower number. But 43 and 60 for IR, that's pretty good because the consulates in Guangzhou were pretty much closed. They kept claiming that they couldn't issue any visas because of the proclamation. I think it's a 9984 stating that they couldn't even have the interview because of the travel ban for COVID reasons, specific for very limited countries like South Africa, Brazil, Ireland, UK, and China, and I think there was 26 European countries, the Shenzhen area. So let's get down to answer some questions here. Thanks for your patience. I just wanted to explain that a bit because that just updated, even though it's now mid-April. Man, time flies. Okay. All right. Gaurav Mall. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Your question is there any way to get F2A interview soon? You're DQ documentary qualified since Feb 2020. I'm sorry about your situation right now. It's already more than 3 years. Definitely. Have you? Well, first thing I always advise to the viewers, the fans here, is that number one, inquire, send an inquiry email, okay? Because of course, depending on your consulate location, but for the most part, they're all open. It just depends how soon they can have an interview. And even though on the visa wait time website, it shows 999 days to indicate emergency appointments only, that doesn't mean they're closed. They're still open. They're just, what I believe is they don't want to show to the world or announce to the world that they're completely open 100% because they probably don't have enough people to work and staff the location. So that because of COVID. So, and probably a lot of people that actually worked at the consulate probably may have returned to the United States and not work for the State Department anymore, especially because the previous administration was the Trump administration. I've known some people to quit because of that, unfortunately. And it's not just because there's one president or another. It's also because, supposed to get rid of that. It's also because of the policies, the discriminatory policies. So that could be another reason why people are not as many people working at the consulate. Of course, the government doesn't want to share that information because they don't want people to feel they want, Biden wants to make sure that people feel more that America is united, which I can understand that. So Mall, I recommend that you, number one, inquire to your consulate, especially if it's past the if it's past the time for your priority date. You want to get that taken care of as soon as possible. I'm just pulling up the visa bulletin chart here, and let's see here. It still shows April is the current one. Upcoming, it says coming soon for May, so that's good. It's been saying that for the last couple of weeks. So maybe by next week, I think mid-month is when they're now issuing out the next month's visa bulletin. But Mal, I know that's not the best advice, but if you have not inquired, then I would try that first before you get a lawyer involved, because it sounds like the next step then is to get a lawyer involved for your case. Okay, so we're happy to help you. And of course, the best way is, especially if you're the person that's abroad, the best way then is to fill out the intake form down below, or give us a call actually, and then we'll get you taken care of. We're open 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Central Time. We do have an answering service, by the way, for the off hours, but they don't know anything about immigration, not 100% to be honest. So the best thing, if you have questions about that, call during the open hours, 9 to 6 p.m. Central Time. Okay, our answering service on the off hours, they just get your name and phone number. So I just want to save you some time so you understand that. Um, let's see here. So yeah, you want to be Mall. You want to be careful, of course, of the CSPA, Child Status Protection Act. If you are for the whoever's the beneficiary, who's a child, that's make sure you're under the CSPA age. Okay, so next question, Adele. Hi there. Can your husband, who is a green card holder, petition for you, and and your daughter, who's a stepchild? So I recommend, although you can file for as a resident, I it really depends on your situation. I have to find out if from you directly if you qualify for an exemption, because even if you enter with a visa into the United States, but you may have the visa may have expired, you know the general rule is that you have to maintain your status. And there are some very limited exceptions so that you can adjust status, change your status to that of a, let's say, visa holder, or expired status, which really means out of status, undocumented, to that of a resident holder. That's what we recommend, if possible, is that your husband apply to become a citizen first. That will honestly be the best way. That's our recommended path if you can do it. And we even though we're a law firm, we do provide assistance to practice for the exam. But of course, we provide the resources to applicants, to our clients, on getting ready. We do that from day one. We want our clients to be ready. And usually it takes about 12 months process, okay? Because even if you file now as a with him as a resident, um, the regulations require that you can only adjust for yourself when he's already a citizen at the time of filing. So that is why I normally do not suggest to apply when the petitioner is a resident. Okay. Now, the only situation I do recommend, absolutely recommend to file as a resident, when the petitioner is a resident, is when you entered without a visa and need a waiver. Because in that situation, it's a different situation. But it sounds like you're trying to, you may have entered with a visa. So I do need a little bit more information, Adele, if you don't mind. Either give us a call, or text us. If you're all at work, give us a text. And by the way, if when you do that, we do offer for y'all, since you're watching, free 15-minute preliminary discussion, kind of like how I'm talking about right now, just making sure you're eligible. Okay. And if you want that free 15 minutes, you need to give this not so secret code, green card guys. All right, friends. And then if you just text that code, if you're at work, we understand. Then just type that, type that in, and then our cares team will contact you within 24 hours. Okay, so let's get to some of the other comments. Hopefully that was helpful, Adele. What's up, Ron? Nice to see you. By the way, friends, if you are investing in real estate, and just want to find out more information about that, check out Ronald Rode's uh, his what is it called, his YouTube channel. He talks about that. Really good information there. Check it out. Hi, Dev. I see your full comment. Let's see. Actually, you're on DACA right now. Your question: if you self deport, I don't know why you would do that, but if you self deport, to India. Would you be able to come back since your mother is a green card holder? How long will I trigger the ban? Well, I don't. I would need more information, Dev. It sounds like you definitely need to contact us or any other good immigration lawyer, because this is a big question you're asking me. We Number one, we normally don't recommend anyone to deport themselves, of course, unless there's an order of removal or a specifically voluntary departure, because you have to follow, especially if people want future status. Now, Dev, I don't know how old you are, but that's important to know. If you're over 18, then yes, you are starting to accrue unlawful presence. But the trigger part, where that ban or the bar restriction, whatever people want to call it, that triggers at the time you leave the United States, at the time that you leave the soil of the United States. Okay. So even if you're just putting one foot into the Canadian or Mexican border, that counts as triggering the ban. Okay. So there's a lot to know. In some circumstances, or some people are eligible to apply for a waiver. We call it family unity waiver, which we'll have a separate video about that. And I need to write that down. I keep saying that, friends, and I have a long list now. Yep, just flipping through. Gotta make my list. Okay, so I'm going to talk about unlawful presence. Actually, I think I have a video already coming about that. Okay, but in terms of waivers, I need to talk about the importance of waivers. Okay, so I can kind of give you an idea right now, Dev. Family unity waiver, for I-601A form, you need to have what we call qualifying relative. That doesn't mean uncle, aunt, no tío, tía, nana, abuelo, abuela, not grandparents. You need to have a spouse who is a U.S. citizen or resident, or parents who are U.S. citizen or resident. So, Dev, you gave me some info here. Your mom's a resident holder, a green card holder, so that's good. Okay. We really dive in deep to have a better understanding of what potential future hardships your qualifying relatives could suffer. And I know it's difficult to predict, but that's part of what our team does every day. We really dive in deep with our client's life to get an idea of the past, so that we can parallel that for the future on what the hardship would be like. So it's really storytelling, of course, right? But it's telling the truth at the same time. So, Dev, hopefully that was a little bit helpful. I can't advise you specifically if you should leave or not, but at least in the meantime, what we do for most clients is we can file a petition first, I-130, and we go from there. But right now you have DACA, so you have not been accruing. Anyone that has DACA does not accrue unlawful presence during the time that you have DACA. So, for example, if you got DACA before you were 18 or right when you were 18 years old, and you still do until now, and you never had a gap of having DACA, then you don't have any unlawful presence. So either way, I would file a petition I-130 to start with. Okay, you don't have to leave the country to do that part yet. Hopefully that was helpful. And I see here you have a second comment. No criminal record at all. That's great. I'm happy for you for that. Don't drink and drive. That's number one. If you do drink outside, please call order Uber or Lyft, whatever you got available to you in your area. A lot of our clients that are in removal proceedings, it's because they had a DWI and they got caught up and they were transferred to ICE eventually. So as simple as that. It doesn't actually have to be, very extensive type of or more serious crime. And by the way, if there is Supreme Court case, or there is a case where it said that when people have DWI, that is considered dangerous. So immigration judges do use that against you. It used to be considered, not as serious like that per se, where they would just release you. When it's one or less, only one, they typically release. But if it's two DWI or DUI type offenses, crimes, then they will hold that against you, even if it's only a charge and you got transferred to ICE too early. Okay, so that's very important for you to know. And so that's why I say, friends, please, if you do drink out, please get an Uber or Lyft. Okay, I've got some questions to cover. I got 8 more minutes, so let me roll through here. Jewel, nice to see you, my friend. How are you doing? Tommy, hey, you're from New York City. Yeah, by the way, if y'all gonna write a comment, please let me know where y'all are watching from. I always find that interesting. You've been out of status after H-1B for a while. IRS deposited the most recent stimulus, 1,400. Would it be a public charge for future GC application? Some people use GC for green card application. Not sure how to return it. From the information I found before, when the stimulus started coming out, before even during President Trump's tenure, that was not an indication of any kind of public charge. But if I didn't see that before, so it's not a public benefit in terms of that sense. But of course, if you would like specific information to check that out, let me know. Text us, give us a call. We'll check it out for you directly again. Let's see here. Adya, what is the news about essential worker? Right now, you know what? I think I just got some notification. Yeah, I got some notification that there was some kind of update, but I don't think it was not a big update. More like one of the sponsors had updated the text of the information. So let me see if I can find it. I got a lot of windows open. Okay. So, okay, it's not that one. Okay, in the meantime, let me get to the next question. But yeah, right now there's no big update right now about essential workers, unfortunately. But as soon as I find that information about the slight update to the text, I will let you know. Okay, but in the meantime, Abel, hi Abel. Let's see. Is it okay to stop going to school? Ooh, another big question. Another is this okay to stop going to school for F1 after I-485 family-based interview? Now we get this question a lot, friends, and that's because, of course, international tuition is expensive, really expensive. I get it. I totally get it. However, I who knows what's going to happen with your application. I'm praying for you. Hope you get approved, right? But in this very hopefully rare circumstance, at least in our experience, we get approved, right? We do get some denials, very limited, really, because clients lie to us. They don't tell us the truth, unfortunately. So when you tell me the truth, I'm able to help you and advise if you can even file or not. So here's why I tell you this, because we've had one client get denied because they used a different name when they came across the border, and they forgot. Now, and they used a very similar name. They use a different date of birth, but when that happens, the government knows it's a different agencies. They don't necessarily work together, but they can collect information from a different agency. And so I don't know your situation, Abel, but I had to give very generalized advice. I don't recommend to stop going to school. You should maintain your status. Okay. I highly recommend maintaining your status until your interview, at least, or till you get approval. And the reason is because you could have a situation, very limited situation where you could be denied. And Abel, um, I don't know if you have a lawyer, but at least consult with a lawyer to know what to do at the interview. You want to set yourself up for success, and that's what we do for our clients. Okay, so let's see here. Hopefully that was helpful, Abel. All right. And by the way, show your school spirit. If y'all going to a particular school you're willing to share, let us know. Especially, we just finished this March Madness college basketball. I didn't go to Baylor, but congratulations to the Baylor Bears. All right, Mohammed, you have a K1 case. You've been stuck at NVC for months. I am very sorry to hear that. We absolutely help with those type of cases. That's why I was showing the statistics a bit ago and early on in the channel to show, or this video, this live show, because a lot of people are stuck with that. Oh, you're in the UK. Okay. Let me see, actually, for the UK. Your fiance lives in the UK. What can I do? Secretary of State K1s can now be processed in countries in the UK. So again, what I said in a live show earlier. Okay, looking for K1. Okay, so for London, ooh boy, K1 for London, there's only one issued. So that's a big problem. Hey, I just saw the news. They just opened up the bars. The fact they opened up the bars, but you can't get your K1 visa interview, that is ridiculous. So this is what we do, friends. We file lawsuits against the government. They could be watching me, but they know, right? They could be watching my channel. They know that's what we do. We have colleagues that file lawsuits. Not many immigration lawyers do this. And I can guarantee if you hire a notario, notary in your community, they can't file a lawsuit because they don't have a license. You have to have another license on top of another license to be able to file these federal lawsuits. Okay, so that's why not every immigration lawyer can do this. And this is what we do. We help people get unstuck outside embassy, get your interview. Of course, I cannot guarantee results for anyone, but especially you've been stuck for quite a while. We have some clients that have been stuck since 2019, right before the pandemic, right? They're probably going to be scheduled for interview very soon, right around the pandemic time, February, March 2020, but then the pandemic happened. So we have some clients from back then with a approval notice, I-130. So London only won in February 2020. Hopefully they got more recently, but that shows to me very high indication that they're not moving forward. I mean, I'm surprised Guangzhou, China, they've got a lot more. What did I say, like 30 or something like that earlier? So let's see here. Next question. So Mohammed, please fill out the intake form down below if you have time. Otherwise, please give us a text or call us if you don't have too much time. All right, Flashy. I like that name. Last time I knew someone with that kind of nickname, she was called Flash because she was so fast on playing intramural football. All right, so you want to know a little bit about VAWA? Happy to do a separate video for you, Flashy Ruth, but I will go into a little detail right now. If you want to apply for VAWA, the I-360 form. You only need to file that form first. Okay, we always recommend to file some proof evidence with that of the abuse. And so if some people don't know, VAWA stands for Violence Against Women Act. Now, your spouse has to have some kind of status, legal status. It can be of a resident holder or a citizen. Now, for people who have a spouse that abuse them, and I hope you don't have the situation, but if you do have the situation, Flashy, I hope you're in a safe situation right now, safe place. We really help a lot of people pro bono, divorce at least, but we're in Texas, and so I can't help you there. I'm sorry, Flashy, but we can help with your immigration case if you need it. But I'll give you an idea of the difference between VAWA versus U visa. U visa generally is for victim of crimes. Okay, so it doesn't have to be just abuse. But VAWA is a little bit more restrictive because it does not allow you to apply if it's a partner, if it's not a legal married marriage. So, and also if the person doesn't have status. That's another reason that VAWA is a bit more restrictive. And in that situation, then you have to apply for U visa. And so U visa is a bit more steps. It takes longer. They both take long in general, but U visa is the form 918. But unfortunately, you could do it yourself, but there is a step early on that requires either the police department or the sheriff department or the criminal judge. So any one of those, or the district attorney. So there's 4 different types at least of people that could sign this. It's not anyone in the department. It has to be very specific to that department. That person has the authority to sign off on these certification forms. And this is important because they're really only certifying that you cooperated to share information about the incident, about the abuse. Okay, or about the crime itself, because their job, of course, is to take down, put that person in jail who did that crime. Okay. But going back to VAWA, I know you asked me a question about that. So yeah, that's important in terms of filing process. I'm not sure exactly what you want to know, but so I'll just go just general basis. Um, you can file. I know you're in New York. You're saying you're from New York, but for those who live abroad, you can file if you're living abroad outside the U.S. But of course, your abuser still has to be a U.S. citizen or a resident. And the reason they do this to say you can file this application outside America is because there are some people who are military in the military, right? Some spouse of the military or work as an employee of the U.S. government and required to work outside the United States. So that's why they allow that. And let's see here. I'm getting a chat message for that I need to get to my I need to get to my next consultation. So I have to conclude very soon, friends. There's Flashy, there's so much I can share with you, but hopefully that was helpful so far. Let's see. Okay, Abel, you have a follow up. You're welcome. You already filed the I-45 last interview. Oh, you had the interview. Okay. All right, that's good. January 2021. IO, the interview officer said everything was good to go, but they need to review in Carson, California. Yeah, we have some clients in California. By the way, we're out of Houston, is our main headquarters here, but we have attorney colleagues, professional colleagues in other states, other cities in America. So in case you need someone face to face, I completely understand. We're happy to point you in the right direction. But anyway, Abel, you had the interview. Glad to hear. So you're getting close. Maybe you don't have to pay that foreign tuition, international tuition anymore, but still hold off. You're almost there. That's January though. Okay, March. So we have clients that also are a little bit delayed after the interview. So once it reaches 120 days after the interview, that's 4 months. What we recommend is submit inquiry online to USCIS. Okay, especially if you're doing this on your own. If you have a lawyer, of course, this is what we do for our clients. We inquire to USCIS. That's step number one. If we don't get any response in 30 days, we're going to start preparing for a lawsuit because, especially when the interview officer, even though they can't give you the final approval, what they do is they go to a supervisor, right, for the final check for the approval. And then what they do is they send you the notice. So right now, what it sounds like, it's just stuck on their desk. So most people think there's a delay on their case because it possibly could be denied. No, if there's a delay, if there's a true situation where they think there's going to be something bad on your decision on your case, then they would just outright deny it, right? Why would they wait on that? And number two, if they wanted more evidence, they would tell you on the spot at the interview. They'll issue you a paper to give you papers as request for evidence. And then, so that's why we help a lot of people who are in this situation, Abel, just like your situation. Once it reaches 120 days after interview, we are ready to file a lawsuit for you. Okay. So, Abel, sounds like just to get ready. Hopefully everything works out for you, Abel. But fill out the intake form down below. It starts with Ting Law, or you can call or text us. Okay. And if y'all are just now watching, if you want that free 15-minute preliminary discussion, please give this not so secret code, Green Card Guys, and our cares team will take care of you as soon as possible. Okay. All right, Kofi. Nice to see you. Okay? This might be the last. I'll try to answer the last two questions here. I gotta get going soon. Can a church sponsor you for R1 if you are in a state of evidence for extension? The case was refusal of family-sponsored green card. Well, I need a little bit more information, wrote Kofi, just to be honest with you, because number one, I don't know if you're in America right now or if you're abroad, and evidence of extension related to the family-sponsored case or the R1. But yes, in general, a church can sponsor you for R1 for a religious visa. Okay, that is possible. We've had some clients like that too. Let's see. So hopefully, Kofi, that was helpful. Awas, what about F4 interview in Islamabad embassy. You received email from embassy that will schedule your interview in 120 days. Any update? So I mean that's good. I think they're trying to prevent some lawsuits actually because they're giving you an update that you'll get the interview in 120 days, right? So just make sure that the NVC or State Department or consulate, I mean your consulate or embassy in Islamabad knows if you if your children, for if you have children, if they are facing the Child Status Protection Act issue about aging out. Okay, so mention that to them if that is the situation, so that hopefully they can schedule you earlier than later, even within the 120 days. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. Ulisa Williams, would you be exempted from 864 on I-130? Use maybe 864. Gain 40 work credit even if working out of status. Number one, you need to be working with legal status with a work permit. For example, DACA. If you don't have DACA, there's no point in me answering the 40 work credit. So just to be upfront about that, I don't want people to be misled. You have to have a work permit to use your own income. That's number one. Okay, so it sounds like you might need a joint sponsor. It can literally be like a church member, it could be a friend, it could be a stranger. As long as that person is a US citizen and a resident and they're willing to share the most recent tax return with you, and also the last few months' pay stubs and the W 2 or 1099 proof of income. Okay, it can literally be a stranger. Of course, preferably if you had a choice, someone you know. Okay, so but hopefully that was helpful. You're welcome. And friends, again, our next live show will be Friday, okay, at I believe 1 o'clock. Yikes, I don't know right now, but I believe 1 o'clock. Stay tuned. We'll have more videos again tomorrow and the next day. We're really going to try to provide 5 videos a week, more information and tips for you so you can achieve success on your immigration case. Okay. Thank you, friends. Have a great day. Until next time, please continue wearing a mask. Bye bye.